Hello guys, so now we shall be discussing regarding the nasal skeleton. So the nasal skeleton is divided into two parts. One is called as the external nasal skeleton, another one is called as the internal nasal skeleton. So this part which you can see right now, this is called as the external nasal skeleton. If I remove all this part, the inside part which you can see right now, which you can see right later when I remove this part, this is called as the internal nasal skeleton. So we shall discuss the structures of both external and internal nasal skeleton. Okay. So our topic of discussion is about nasal skeleton. So there are two different types of nasal skeleton as I told you. One is called as the external nasal skeleton. Another one is called as the internal nasal skeleton. First let us discuss about the external nasal skeleton and then let us go back to the internal nasal skeleton. Now in the external nasal skeleton, here you can see many important parts, right? So first important thing which you can see, what is this bone which you can see over here? This particular bone which you can see over here is called as a nasal bone. So this is called as your nasal bone. After the nasal bone, you can see a cartilage here. This particular cartilage which you can see, this particular cartilage is called as a lateral cartilage. This is called as a lateral cartilage. This is called as a lateral cartilage. Okay. Now after the lateral cartilage, you have got alar cartilages. There are two different types of alar cartilages, and remember one thing, how many nasal bones are there? Two. You see, 1 and 2. Okay. How many lateral cartilages are there? Again, they are also 2. Right. Now, so this is 1 and here we have got 2. So between 1 and 2, you see a thin septum like thing here. Yes or no? You see this particular structure all the way like this. This particular structure in the center over there, right? This particular structure is called as septal cartilage. What is this particular cartilage over here called as? See, this particular cartilage here is called as septal. This particular cartilage is called as septal cartilage. After that, we have got two alar cartilages I told you. See, this particular alar cartilage which you can see is called as the major alar cartilage. This one is called as a major alar cartilages. And next, these are also small cartilages over here. What are these? These are multiple, right? So these are called as minor alar cartilages. Minor alar cartilage. So what are the different types of alar cartilages we have got? Two major alar cartilages on either side and multiple minor alar cartilages we have got. And remaining all the part, after all these things which we discussed, you see this yellow color layer, this is called as a fibrofatty tissue. Fibrofatty tissue. Okay. And here you can also look at another bone. You see this particular bone over here. So this particular bone over here is called as the maxillary bone. So externally, what are the different kinds of bones which you have got? You have got paired bones as well as unpaired bones. We shall come into that discussion later. But for now, what are the bones you have seen? Nasal bone. Another one is called as the maxillary bone. Remaining all are the cartilages. We have got the septal cartilage in the center. On either sides of the septal cartilage, you have got lateral cartilages. Next, you have got multiple minor cartilages and there are two major alar cartilages. How many septal cartilages are there? 1. How many lateral cartilages are there? 2. How many major alar cartilages are there? 2. And how many minor alar cartilages are there? They are multiple. Okay. Now, let us see that how many bones form the nasal septum. How many bones together form the nasal septum. Okay. Now, to discuss this, first of all, what I will do is, so first of all, what I will do is that I will just write down the names and then I will show it to you in the form of the picture. Okay. So regarding the nasal septum, what is your nasal septum between your two nostrils? So this is your right nostril, left nostril. This septum in the center you have got is a nasal septum. Nasal septum is formed by paired bones. Paired bones. It is also formed by unpaired bones. Paired bones as well as unpaired bones. So both the bones together, paired and unpaired together, they form the nasal septum. Now coming to the paired bones, what are the paired bones? Nasal bones are paired bone. There are two nasal bones. Next, maxillary, the right half and the left half of the maxillary bones, there are also two. Next, we have got the palatine bones. The right half of the palate, the left half of the palate. Coming to the unpaired bones, ethmoid bone is an unpaired bone. Okay. Next, vomer is an unpaired bone. Let us see where are these bones located. Okay. So, first important bone which you can have over here, you see this particular bone, this is called as your nasal bone. How many nasal bones are there? There are two nasal bones. That is why we have written it under a paired category. The next important bone over here, after the nasal bone, this bone which you can see over here is called as your maxilla. Maxillary bone. Again, two halves of the maxilla we have got. Just back to the maxilla, you see this particular part, this is called as your palatine bone. This is called as your palatine bone. Next, back here you see this orange bone over here, this is called as your vomer. How many vomers are there? There is only one vomer. Okay. Next, this particular bone which you can see is called as ethmoid. And you remember that when I was teaching you ethmoid, above this ethmoid you see some small gaps you see here. These gaps in the ethmoid are called as nothing but cribriform plate. From here only your this one, the olfactory nerve passes. So this is your ethmoid. So after the ethmoid is done, the next important bone we shall discuss this one. What is this particular cartilage over here? Yes, this particular cartilage we discussed just now. What is this? Lateral cartilage. So this is your lateral cartilage. This is your lateral cartilage. After lateral cartilage, what is this? This is called as your greater alar cartilages. Greater alar cartilage. Okay, after greater alar cartilage, you see this small cartilage over. This is called as multiple minor alar cartilages. Cartilages. Okay, because they are multiple. So you can look at these structures, right? And what is this pinkish thing over here? This is called as your septal cartilage. Septal cartilage. Septal cartilage. Okay. So what are the different structures which you can see over here? What are the different structures are? One is called as the septal cartilage. Next we have got is the ethmoid bone, nasal bone, lateral cartilage, greater alar cartilage, minor alar cartilage, maxillary bone, palatine bone and vomer. So these are the structures which are forming what? The nasal septum. So out of this the paired are what? The paired are, one is your nasal, maxillary, palatine. Unpaired are what? Unpaired are your ethmoid as well as a vomer. Okay, so these are the structures which you need to know over here. Right. So this is all you need to know regarding the nasal skeleton. Thank you so much for watching my video. Goodbye.